Hi, I'm Jessica Cinema. Welcome to your Storyline Studio, where writers like you level up your career and your craft. It is time for part 3, the final part of our mentor series. All right, today we're going to learn how to build the relationship with your mentor that could last into the future. And that is really ultimately what we want, to create a relationship that lasts forever. So you sent out your letter, your mentor says yes. In that first conversation, you are going to ask for advice you really want the answer to. Now, this might be a question that maybe you think you know the answer to, but you never know if somebody else would have a different point of view. So you never want to ask a question you know the answer to, because that's just silly. Like, don't say, like, can I publish a book on Amazon? Because I'll tell you right now, the answer is yes, you can publish a book on Amazon. So ask questions you really want to know the answers to. In fact, if you can even dial them into this particular person and make it specific to them, it's going to be even better. So you want to ask questions that cause an action. So in other words, did you ever read any books when you first got started about writing? Yes, I read Story. I love that book. So ask them for advice on what they read or something to watch, or should I be on Substack? Yes, no. Like, you can ask some questions that pertain to writers. So then you can go during that month and do what they told you to do. Read the book they told you to read. Look into Substack and come up with 3 reasons why and 3 reasons why not, if that's what they told you to do. You never want to end it off without having an action to take, because that action to take is what is going to propel the second conversation. Because you never know. If you could have one conversation with this person, they might have 100 conversations in the next month and not quite remember who you are by the second time you reach out again. And that's when you say, remember, we had our first conversation. You told me to read that book Story. You told me to come up with 3 reasons why to be on Substack and 3 reasons why not. So I'm ready to have our follow-up conversation and talk about what I've learned and find out my next steps. Okay, now they're impressed, because I'll tell you something. Most people, and I know this because I coached over 1,000 people one-on-one in the entertainment industry, and one of the biggest complaints I heard, I had a mentor program with over 100 mentors in it. And one of the biggest complaints I heard from those mentors are that the people would have one conversation with them and then never get back to them. And the mentors knew that they had signed up for 3 conversations. Like, they knew that's what the program was. So it made the person look really bad. Like, it made it look like they just wanted something from them, like they wanted them to hire them and they didn't. So, no reason to talk to them again. So just the fact that you're following up with the second conversation is already building a trust. And now they're starting to care about you. So you talk about what you learned from the book, from your research, and then they're going to give you more advice. And if ever there comes a part in the conversation where you realize it's coming to an end and you don't have some next step, then you can say to them, I love that you gave me that book to read. I love that you gave me that research to do. What 1 or 2 things can I do now? What are my next steps? What should I be doing next? And then they give you those next steps. And then again, you go and you do those next steps. Again, put them into action. You take the action. You come back to them month 3. And you say to them, okay, you told me to do this, this, and that. I did it. I'm ready for our 3rd and final conversation. So you have a 3rd conversation. You tell them what you were going to do, ask them, what you should do moving forward. And then you can say, well, I just really appreciate you. These were the 3 conversations that you committed to. So I really appreciate it. And, you can either say, can I keep in touch? But you don't have to. Usually they will. They'll say, oh, what do you mean 3 conversations? Like, you're part of my life now. Like, I'm your mentor. And they take pride in that and they enjoy that. So now you've built a relationship. And one of my favorite stories from this is that I had a camera operator once who, when he first started with me, was an AC, camera assistant. And the camera assistant, it's moving up to camera operator is one of the hardest things you can do. And he took my advice. He got 20 mentors And one of those mentors gave him a break on a B camera. And once he got that, he was able to thank all of the other mentors and say, thanks to you, I got this B camera job. And they're like, well, if that person can hire you, then I can hire you. And before you knew it, he had a bunch of operating jobs. And then he wanted to move up to DP. So he called one of his mentors who had moved up from DP to director of photography to director, and said, hey, I'm looking to get some DP jobs. If you hear of anything, let me know. And he said, oh, actually, I'm working on a pilot, but I'm doing it for free. Would you be willing to do it for free? So the guy said yes. They worked together. The pilot got picked up. There they are, one day on set working. And he just looked at this guy, this original camera assistant who he'd been mentoring, and he said, how do I even know you? And he started laughing because it's they were very unlikely pairing. And he said, you were my mentor 6 years ago. And he's like, oh my God. It's like they forget that they were mentoring you. You become colleagues. And that is what you want. You want a lot of people who are successful writers and people in the writing industry to be your colleagues. And mentorship is the way to get there. So put it in the comments that you are committed to this, or say, I want a mentor, and you never know. Put it out there to the universe. You never know who you're going to get. I'd love to hear your success stories. You can either private message me or, put it in the comments below so that everyone can bask in your glory. All right, time for you to like, subscribe, share with a friend, and go write.